Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be continuing this series. We are in 2023 now, and I love to spotlight my clients and just the amazing women that you all need to meet if you don't know about them already. And so, very excited to keep this going with another client of mine. Her name is Apolonia. Apolonia Cross is a lifestyle and wellness coach who specializes in teaching mompreneurs how to manage and improve their self-care through wellness planning and faith journaling so that they can rediscover themselves and heal their mind, body, and soul without using antidepressants. So I'm excited to have Apolonia on and talk all about this. I think she is a very fitting person to come on here because many of us that are on this channel are mompreneurs. And so very excited to have her. Hello.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I am doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Good, excited to have you. So, first of all, I definitely did an introduction, but I would love for you to just share any fun facts. Just tell us a little bit more about like who is Apollonia at the core, the heart of you.
Um, yeah, sure. Hi guys. My name's Apolonia, like she said, but I actually prefer to be called Apple. It's just a lot simpler. Um, and I'm a mom of four, law enforcement wife as well, and stay-at-home mom. And life is very entertaining, to say the least. Trying to run a business at home and grow with social media, it's literally like raising multiple families. And so sometimes it's like, okay, what did I get myself into? But it's fun and exciting to really just be able to help other moms as I'm on my own journey as well, and be able to be in an authentic place that way. And I'm sure for a lot of other people, allowing that vulnerability is something that a lot of us can really relate to in helping us with healing and growing and developing, because our own self-care isn't just for us, it's for our families too. And so, yeah.
Definitely. And so, what got you into just this business, kind of like this niche specifically? Like, what made moms kind of be on your heart?
As a mom myself and going through my own struggle with postpartum depression and anxiety and depression in different areas, I kind of just recognized, okay, this is a very big deal. I have to figure out how to regulate myself. And the last thing that was a very big fear for me was being put on medication, because I was just like, there's no way I want to live the rest of my life surviving on medication just to be happy to be with my family and to be able to function normally. And so that was where I really got into wanting to get better with eating healthy, recognizing and learning more about my mental and emotional triggers and the relationship that I have with different food groups and things and how that affected me. And so that was the start of my journey, and it transformed from just focusing more on physical health to really recognizing, well, there's a very bigger scope to where a lot of women think, oh, if I just lose these pounds, I'll feel happier. Or if I get back to this size or all of these things before I had the kids, you'll be so much happier. And then when you get to that size or get to that expected level that you thought, then all of a sudden you're still breaking down again. So I really felt that call to help other moms who may have been experienced the things that I experienced, and becoming a mom in that transition, and also who are wanting to find a more holistic way to manage their mental and emotional health and improve their physical health as well. That corresponded with having a healthy family too. So it's sustainable and not something that's like a crash diet or anything like that.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. And I think sometimes women don't realize, especially like if they're new moms, like how much of an undertaking it is when you now have like this other human outside of yourself to take care of. So I'm just curious. I know I'm a little bit off script, but I really would love to know just so you mentioned that you went through postpartum depression, you have four kids. So what was it for you that kind of clicked where you were like, I need to start prioritizing myself? Like if y'all follow her on the gram, like she be up early, she be doing her thing, she gets her time in. And so like she is such a good example of someone that doesn't use the excuse of like having a child or multiple children to stop her from making sure that she is still on the top of her list. So I'm just curious, like, how were you able to do that? Just like start saying yes to yourself and just kind of making sure that you were a priority every day.
Um, I don't know why, but it seems like God likes to break us down so he can lift us back up in the right way. But I, honestly, it was really where things were very dark and scary for me. And I really realized, like, I'm sure everybody can relate to that, moment where you're in the closet or in the bathroom, just on the floor, and you're just lost and broken. And finally, like, you feel like the Holy Spirit just like say, you got to get up. And for me, that was like the pivotal thing, because I was like, I can't keep going on like this, because this is not okay for me, but it's definitely not fair and okay for my family. And so though that was the turning point for me to really say, no, I need to get up. I need to figure this out. I need to do something. And another thing is, like, because the devil likes to make you feel like you're alone. You're crazy. You're the only one going through this and all of the things, right? And then something in me was like, no, I'm not the only one. Someone else is out there. I gotta find them. I gotta get up. And so that was really the pull for me to fight. It wasn't just for myself, it was for the other moms, and other women, because I felt so alone. And I was like, I have to fight to be the one to tell the tale, for the next generation. And then God blessed me with girls. So I was like, oh yeah, yep, that's what's happening. I got to tell them, nah, it's not if you're going to go through it, it's when you go through it and how to get out of it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, I know you're such an amazing role model for your daughters and, of course, your sons too. But it's just been really cool to see you over the years, just as you've kind of shifted and changed and everything. So take us back to when you first decided that you wanted to start your business, kind of what that looked like. I know it's definitely different now today from what it was when you first started, but how was that process for you? Like, what was the moment where you decided, after just, first of all, just sharing with us that you had that moment of just being like, I need to get up, I have to do something about this. I can't allow this to take me over and feel like you're not alone. How did you get from like kind of like that version of yourself to now like I'm getting ready to create an online presence and I want to start a business and I want to be able to empower other women? Like, how did that shift happen?
It was like, it was more of a way for me to, it started with just me wanting to open and share my own personal journey, and where I was going through. And it was like a healthy space for me to vent what I was feeling, but turn it into a positive, for someone else who might be reading it. And for me, that being vulnerable is something that's very therapeutic for me. And even just sharing my foods that I make and stuff for my kids, how I was cooking things. Like, I actually really love to do that type of stuff. Like, before there was like, everybody and their mom just had like their tips. Like, that was just something I really enjoyed doing a lot, and just naturally sharing, like turning all the unhealthy foods into like healthy stuff. Like, Black people, we don't got things are a little, got a lot of pork and nasty greases and things that cause a lot of diseases and stuff. So I'm like, all right, how can I turn like a traditional meal into something healthy? But and so it just naturally went from me sharing those things to like, I could actually probably turn this into a business. And a lot of people are reaching to me like, how do you overcome this? What are you using? What do you do? How do you prep food for all the kids? How are you waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get in a workout? And so I had set up like different routines and habits and things that and systems that helped me. And so I created a program, just basically what I was doing for myself. And translated that onto different like tips and things, and then been able to start helping people do that as well.
Wonderful. That is very cool. So yeah, it is funny because there was a time when everybody wasn't sharing every single thing that they did, and it was actually like rare when people were doing that. So I do remember that time online. But that's really, but that's really cool. So
The sound
when,
old.
I know it's like back in the day when oh Lord, when Instagram did pictures,
Man.
when life was simpler.
Right. When they had the flip phones, remember the Dwayne Wade, he just the flip.
Oh yes, was it the sidekick or
Yeah,
something?
the sidekicks.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
God.
that is so funny. Look at us. We're not that old, y'all.
We not that old, but
Uh, um, so what was the biggest struggle for you when you were getting started with your business and everything that kind of led you to possibly wanting to get some help, working with me, and just kind of seeking out help in general to kind of take your business to the next level?
honestly, the structuring of like a business. Like period, just like how to actually package it and like offer it and create an offer and create a product,
Yeah.
and even setting a price on the things that I was making, because especially for me, I'm a natural like sharer and giver, so I like to make things and give it to people like normally. And or if I make something for myself, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you can have it. And so I didn't realize I was devaluing myself and also the things that I was making for people. And so I really needed help with that, and also just how to like set up a website, all the emails and like automations. Like it becomes a lot and very overwhelming. And so I knew that I wanted it to become a business because I really love doing it. And I wanted to get paid for something that I love to do and eventually not have to go back to a 9 to 5, because with 4 kids, y'all, like it's just not a desirable thing, when you're also the primary caregiver, because my husband works a lot too. So I'm just like, I got to figure out a way to make my life profitable, while still maintaining that authenticity. And I really just love how you were doing yours, because it was the first time I actually seen someone, they were sharing their real life and the journey. Most people just show themselves as the expert and all the bells and whistles. So you kind of feel like there's this, here they are, and then here you are. But you were like, come along for the ride with me. And I just really related to that so well. Because that's literally how I was doing things, but I didn't realize like I was actually growing a following and building a business.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so find a way to transition that and actually get help with like, yeah, this is a business. This has potential.
Yeah. And I don't even think I ever told you this, but when you first reached out to me to sign up for like, I don't even know I was calling them kickoff calls at the time, but like my little call to see if we could work together. I was like fangirling over you because I had been following you for a while. And I was like, oh, she's amazing. Like, why would she want to work with me? So like that's just so funny. And it's just been so fun to get to know you over the years and just have you be a part of the community and all of that. So do you feel like from us working together, what are some of the things, if like what kind of was the improvements that you saw afterward, or just what were you able to take away from the time of us working together? And even after you've been like attending the calls and things, even past our time of working together, how's it been?
Yeah, like you definitely helped me get the courage to actually put my products out there. Um, Especially if you've been in the planner community a lot, you can definitely feel that it's very saturated, because in a sense it is.
Yeah.
But we all have something amazing to offer. We all have our own special, unique take on our creativity and what we want to, how we plan, how we journal, and all of the things. And so working with you, you really helped me recognize that. And you also helped me compartmentalize my brain so I can actually like create the product and launch it. And that was really big for me. Like every little thing, you were very supportive and encouraging, like, because a lot of times we can be like, oh, this sucks, but she was like, no, like, you just really don't realize how great in the potential that this has. Put it out there and you'll never know. And so that really helped me actually create my first sticker products, and then launch my first subscription box. Like, I did only sell one box, but the journey was good because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I actually did it. And I think a lot of times we get so caught up in the numbers because obviously, hustle and grind culture, and all the gurus say, no, the numbers, it's a number thing, it's a numbers game. So when your numbers don't necessarily match up, you can really absolutely feel defeated. And working with you, you were like completely, it's not about the numbers. It's about, what did you learn from this journey? Now, how can we do it better the next time? And especially for like moms, like, we need to be able to celebrate the absolute baby steps, because we cannot just put our head down and go hardcore like that without losing some things along the way that we were not willing to or didn't realize we were going to lose. And so you sharing the little things of the journey and encourage me to, like, okay, this is where we're at. You're doing good here. Like, now let's go to the smaller up level. It helped grow that consistent confidence in being able to launch the product, and how you also teach with taking one product and gradually putting it out there consistently for the launch to come up is also really helpful too.
Definitely. Well, that's wonderful to hear. And I like that too. That is a good perspective because, yeah, I mean, of course we all want to make money from our business, but I think if we don't exercise that consistency muscle and even learn how to put ourselves out there, it can be hard to even get to that point. And so I know it's been a while now since you've been in business, so things have definitely shifted and changed. So just kind of walk us through, like, what does Plan Her Way to Fit look like right now? What excites you the most about your business? Just kind of like, what are you working on right now?
Yeah, so right now I'm more focusing on coaching and doing group, going to be launching my group coaching program, and also focusing on creating digital products like a digital devotional journal, printable stickers for those who want to do that, but also just creating different products and courses in that realm, um, and creating a wellness and lifestyle community for moms for mompreneurs, because that, we all need those reminders of self-care, but we also need those reminders to keep going and to push for your goals in any way, shape, or form. And so that's really where Plan Her Way to Fit is really going right now. And I was doing a lot in the beginning, physical stickers, but with a 4-year-old and 2-year-old, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna lay that one down. I actually just wrote that down like the day before yesterday. I was like, I'm focusing on passive income. It's not that the desire is that not there to want to do the stickers and all that. It's just, sometimes you got to pivot, and being okay with the pivot. So that's where Plan Her Way to Fit is going, more on that community aspect. So you'll be seeing one-on-one coaching coming up, or doing more one-on-one coaching, group coaching. And then as far as physical products, doing courses, like I mentioned, the digital devotional, which I'm really actually excited about, because I wanted to infuse just like meditation with a daily verse, and infusing the combination of the two, and breath work, because there's so much benefits that we can do with that, and to be able to prioritize our self-care in that way, shape, or form, especially when you don't have a whole lot of time. That's something you could do before you start working your business, before you wake up, in something, before you do a workout, before, just anything. And so and all of us are really struggling with time. And so wanting to incorporate those types of things into the Plan Her Way to Fit brand. And probably also some clothing as well, different apparel, just inspirational apparel. And yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a ton of fun stuff. So what out of all of those things, what are you most excited about? I'm just curious. What's the one that really just gets you super excited?
Oh God. That's so hard. You would ask that question. I think that's a hard question, but I really think the one thing that I am most excited for, as far as products go, would be the digital devotional for people.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Well, like as you were saying all of the different things, when you mentioned that, like you lit up a little bit more. I don't know. I'll go back and look at the replay, but I feel like you lit up a little bit more when you're talking about that, and that's kind of a cool one. I think that will be received well and be really nice.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
I love that's I really love journaling, and it's so therapeutic and has been a very big part of my healing journey.
Mm.
And especially for moms who are struggling with anxiety and depression and just trying to find some form of solace and peace when life is too crazy and you're not able to get an appointment with a therapist and all the things. Like that was a struggle for me, not being able to get the help that I was needing, just because appointments weren't available, blah, 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 blah. And so leaning into that devotional time for me and then allowing like the Holy Spirit to just speak through me through some of the pain and things that I was going through actually helped me in that way. And that's a lot of what I teach. And so I think having that devotional journaling, the digital devotional journaling with the meditations and everything would be so helpful for a lot of moms.
Yeah, I definitely think so. So you mentioned that journaling was a big part of your healing journey and all of that. And so I would just love for you to just share with everyone, how are you able to incorporate that in? Just kind of walk us through like what is, like if you're being intentional for the day, like what is your routine? How are you able to fit in journaling and like your morning routine? So I would just love like just a look into your day of like what it looks like for you.
So like my perfect day. Okay.
Yeah. Your intentional day, you know, like just the one that we all wish we could have when we wake up and everything just went according to plan. Yes.
Right. And kids don't wake up like,
Right.
yeah. So, yeah. So waking up at 3 a.m, and I know that sounds crazy, y'all, but just listen. But waking up at 3 a.m, because my kids wake up around 5:36. So getting up at 3 a.m, and getting my water in and instantly pulling out the Bible app and my wellness planner that I have right now. It has the faith planner inside of it and doing the verse of the day and writing that down, getting my vitamins in and also getting a shake in and just praying and stretching, doing a little bit of yoga as I'm listening to praise and worship music, and then hitting the gym at 4 and then coming back home about 5 o'clock, getting another meal because a lot of people don't realize you need to be eating consistently. Not a lot, but you got to speed up that metabolism. So eating another meal, getting in a shower, and then kids wake up, mom life begins. That, but like I typically, if I can't get my time in the morning, then I maximize like my gym membership and I'll take my wellness planner with me and get in my devotional. And the way I have it set up is it's devotional first, daily gratitude, wellness check-in, and then do like 15 minutes of journaling. And I set a timer on my phone so that way I can stay, stop myself at those times. And then I'll go ahead and get into working on my next project or whatever. And that's how I'm able to break that up in the middle of the day. And then I finish out the rest of the day in mom life and all the things that way. But or sometimes if I can't get it in the middle of the day, then I'll do it after I get the kids into bed. So it really just depends, but ideally waking up at 3 in the morning and getting all that done.
How do you do that? Like, I'm over here struggling trying to get, because at one point I was like waking up consistently between like 5 and 5:30, but I don't know, some about that time change back in November, and I have just not, I've not gotten it together since. So is there anything that you do to just kind of like psych yourself out to get up that early? Are you going to bed a lot earlier, or just any tips for that?
So there was a point before I had to train my body in my mind to wake up that early. Because when I first started a 3 a.m. routine, I was working a 9 to 5. And so if I wanted to get my workout in, and because I was really focusing on my physical health and losing weight at that time, I had no choice. Like, I had to get myself up early and get it in. Or I had to do it late. And for me, I have no energy past like 5, 6 o'clock. Like, and everybody's different. Some people are fueled afterwards. And so it's really just being honest with yourself. You can't make yourself be something that you're not. You can't. You will go crazy and beat yourself up about it. And we're all different in different seasons of life. And so for me, I'm a morning person. I love to wake up with the sun. And I need my time before the chaos, because that was something that triggered my anxiety. Yeah. So just waking up to kids and then going, mommy, 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 and all of those things, I would start snapping. I'd be angry and I'd break down and all those things. So I was like, okay, if that is a trigger, then I have to work past that. And so getting my time and gradually starting my day, I was able to be calm. And then for me, what helped me overcome my anxiety was getting my heart rate up. And so working my way technically into like an anxiety state, and then gradually allowing my body to come back down into a calmer state. It sounds weird, but it sounds weird, but that was just something for me in my journey that I figured out worked really well for me. And that's what I did. And then now just doing a lot of the journaling really helps.
Definitely. That was really interesting, because I deal with anxiety. I've had like panic attacks and stuff in the past, and that sounds like the complete opposite. But I can kind of see what you mean, because like you're already like, and then to kind of take control and be like, well, I'm causing myself to have my heart rate kind of raise and everything. That's a different approach. I'll have to definitely try that next time I have a little like anxious moment or two and see how that works out for me. That's a really good tip just for anxiety.
Because it's regular. So when you get your heart rate up and you're sweating, you're able to exert yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you've dealt with anxiety, like that's what you're like it's not fun. And it comes up just randomly. But if you can kind of like get your heart rate up and do that in the morning times, you regulate yourself afterwards. I don't know about y'all, but for me, after a very good cry, I'm like, okay, I'm back. Like, all right, I'm okay. I know I'm crazy. I was crazy. I had a moment.
Right. Oh my God. I feel like crying, well, depending on how good the cry is, it can almost get a little tiring. Be like, dang, I need to take a nap.
And sometimes, that's what's needed. But then afterwards, that release of that's what I teach, is the realization of what you're emotionally going on is causing the physical trauma that you're experiencing. So a lot of times we deal with anxiety because we're holding so much in, and we have to release it. And whether you release it through journaling and just a little bit of crying, or you really have to physically get it out, you need to get that out, just so that way you can be more mentally and emotionally stable. Because medication will do it, but there's a bunch of side effects down the road that cause that. And then if you decide to get off, you're still dealing with what you did not heal through naturally. So
that's a really, really good point. Okay. Sorry. I was just thinking about the anxiety. We ain't trying to be having that going on.
Right.
So I would love to know, how are you able to balance it all? I know people love that question, but not even so much like balancing, because I know it seems like you have like a principle of not putting that pressure on yourself. Because like you said, we have a lot of things on our mind. We let things build up and then at some point it comes out. So how do you give yourself permission to still have all of these different projects you do for yourself? You're working on your mental health, your physical health. Obviously, you're a wife, you have kids. And how do you balance everything and not feel the pressure coming down? Or maybe you do. And how are you able to just kind of allow that to release on the days? Just how does that look for you? Because I'm sure a lot of women that want to become moms and wives think about like, can I handle and take all of this on?
Yeah. So I don't balance it all. Like it looked like it. It definitely does. But it comes down to compartmentalizing, and you have to pick a focus. A lot of times, you know, and it can shift. So for me, I know I have my primary focus on the things that I need to do for the day, and then I have the things that I need to do for myself. And depending on how much time I have allotted, I do my best to at least just compartmentalize and work in time blocks. So, and I set up my entire life that way instead of just go day by day, because some people do day by day, but I find it better if you create a system for yourself in the entire week that incorporates those things that are the most things that are important to you in the season of life that you're in right now, then you're going to be able to do that. So for me right now, family is taking up majority of my time. Mm-hmm. And so I make sure that I set up like the family routine first in whatever time blocks that I have that are available or open to where I can do something for myself, or if it's available for me to work, I maximize those pockets of time that I have to focus on that portion of my life. And once that portion of my life is done, I do my best to shut that off. And so sometimes you're going in and out of family life, in and out of work life, just depending on how your pockets go. But that's really the best way that I can describe it, where I find that healthy balance. The biggest, most important thing for me is faith, family, and fitness. And so if I can get those in some way, shape, or form, I feel a lot more secure and settled for myself.
I love that. And I love how you said like you shut off that part, because I think sometimes that's even my problem, is where like stuff will seep in, you know, like when I'm trying to just be focused on this one thing and then it's like, oh, I'm still thinking about stuff. So I like that you are able to kind of put it into compartments, and then when it's done, we're closing it until the next time we revisit it. I love that. And I think that does take pressure off. So that's a wonderful way to do that. So I'm curious if there is anyone that might be watching this, and not only are they just maybe just feeling overwhelmed with life and motherhood and all the things, but they also, on top of this, are crazy enough to want to start a business. So, you know, on top of this and all of that, but they're just feeling really in their own way. What tips and advice do you have for just that woman to be able to overcome that?
You really have to get honest with yourself. Really, really get honest with yourself. Exactly. Do I really want this? Why do I really want this? And am I willing to do what's necessary, as well as sacrifice some things? So that way I can make this happen. Because it's going to cost you some things, and you have to be okay with the sacrifices you're making. And I think a lot of the times that's what causes us to get in our own way, because whether it's a fitness goal, a family life goal, business goal, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you get into like, I'm going to do this. And then when it starts to get hard, you're like, dang, I was not trying to do this. I was not trying to do this. And, you know, and so just remembering that it's a journey and it's a process. And I think if you can really do that early on, when the times get hard, you're like, okay, I knew this was going to be, you know, difficult, but I'm going to be okay. Like this, because you accepted the challenge, right? Like you accepted the challenge that was going to be coming your way, because you knew that it would be coming, even if it wasn't exactly what you expected. You're like, I knew this was going to be happening, but I know what's coming is way better than what I'm going through right now. And so having to remember to stay on that, and what? You remember your why and your purpose and the reason, because God calls those he feels will be really able to, not even he feels be able to, because he built us the way that we are. And so if you really have that drive, you were created to do this, like, period, point blank. And I think a lot of us, especially when we become moms, right, like, because of society norms and all the things, we feel like we have to put ourselves away. We don't, like, now everything I am is my kids. And for us who are mompreneurs, that's not, no, we can't do it. It's not that we don't, it's not that we don't care about our kids or love our kids, but we really can't do it. Like, we can't put ourselves away. We really weren't built that way. And so allow yourself that space and the grace to discover what that creative outlet is for you. And if it is a business in any way, shape, or form, God put that in you for a reason. Don't try to push that and hold that back, because that will trigger and cause what in the spiritual realm, we know as a grieving spirit, because your spirit was not on here just to be a homemaker. Your spirit was called to be an entrepreneur. Proverbs 31 woman, she was moving, grooving, investing, she was doing it. Okay. And all of us are like, that's great, trying to figure out to get to that level. And then others are not. And that's completely okay. But you really just have to be honest with yourself and be okay with yourself, and shutting out anyone else who's trying to not bring you down, but because they're doing their best to try to help you find peace. And sometimes that's not really what it is. You just have to actually answer the call you're being called to.
Definitely. I could not agree more, especially about the I was laughing, but sometimes it does feel like that, because you do have certain people that, like, they just drop everything, whether they have other endeavors they want to do or not, and their kids just become everything. But I feel like that's kind of how I've been. Like, I love my daughter to death, but there's no way I could not do what is on me. Like, I couldn't just, like, get up every day and that's the only thing that my focus is on. Like, as much as I love her, like, I have this pull to want to do so many other things. And so that's true. I'm sure that brings up that guilt, because you're, like, wrestling with wanting to be super present, but it's like, but I have this thing over here, and, like, I really need to do this to feel fulfilled for myself. So
the
thank
devil
you for
will
bringing
play
that point up.
Yeah,
because people probably feel guilty. Huh?
I said, yeah, and the devil will play on that
Yes.
so heavy. But when you answer that call, and God reminds you, like, no, I called you to do this, and there's nothing wrong with you. Like, do it. And then you'll finally have that peace and that balance that I feel like we all strive to achieve. But that balance is within. It's not necessarily without, because look, ain't nobody got a clean house, well-behaved kids, all the money in the bank, all by themselves without no help. It's all the picture perfect stuff.
Say it.
All that stuff we see.
Right.
That was for 5 minutes for that shot.
Right. And then if you just veer off to the right just a little bit, you go see what
man. Okay, you gonna see the makeup there, the writing on the wall, like all of the things. And that's why I really loved working with you, is because your daughter's in the pictures. Your daughter's in the videos. You're over here taking these pictures, and she's over here messing and probably ripping up a page that you probably get mad at her. You don't show us that part, right? Like, we don't show that part. But, like, this is normal to have your kids all around you. And especially for a mom who's wanting to start her business, no matter what level she's at, there's so much guilt that we're battling with, because we feel like we feel like we have to be divided. But that, like, God is not a God of division. He is a God of union and togetherness. So you're supposed to do it with your kids, as difficult and stressful and frustrating as that is. Okay. But you're supposed to do that with your kids because the next generation, you don't know what they're going to go through, but they need to be able to say, no, I remember being with my mom. And so they don't need to struggle with this the way that we struggled with it. They need a healthy version of what it looks like for mom to be with me as she works. And so when I get my kids, like I'm not going to feel guilty for working. I'm not going to feel guilty for stickers. And it teaches your kids discipline. It teaches your kids mindfulness, and it teaches them respect, because it's like, no, mommy needs to work on this. You can have your tablet time during this time.
Yeah.
While I do this. And then afterwards we can be together, like, and play together, but you need to give me my time and blah, blah, blah. And that teaches them healthy boundaries too. Like there's so much. So pray on it, journal on it, get any of the fears and everything out, and then do it.
Right. Yeah, because at some point it's like it don't matter how much preparation you do. At some point you have to just do it. Like literally.
And that's difficult. That's difficult. And that's where we get in our own way, because we get so just, but what if this, what if that? And that's the natural thing. And we just have to tap into like, all right, let me shut all this off and I'm gonna just do it.
Right. And even like I was saying in one of my last videos, even after you decide to make that first leap, you're going to have to, that process continues as you go and you grow and you change, and it never stops. So
It don't.
there's never really a right time to start, because you're always going to hit that wall at some point again.
Right. It's like, I didn't sign up to be a jumper in track, but when you decide to start a business, or even like just being a mom in general, and you're thinking about starting a business, look, I'm straight up telling you, it's like raising two families at the same exact time. Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
it definitely is.
And it's just what it is. But again, you were called to do this because otherwise you wouldn't feel this urge to do it. And if you're not called in this season to do it because you really just feel like you want to be present with your family, then do that too. Whichever is okay. You really have to just listen to the calling on your heart and what God's trying to tell you to do, and not settle, but surrender to that. And I think a lot of that, we can struggle with this idea, but like, I'm settling for less and blah, blah. Cause I mean, maybe it's just me, cause I know that's my stuff. You feel like you're settling for less cause you can go harder. You can do so much more, but you're burning out, you're breaking down, and God's like, no.
And it's never worth that.
It's never worth your peace. It's not, because you just need to push harder, like hustle and grind culture tells us. And that's something that I tell my clients. We need to be mindful, and we're hustling and flow. We're not to work and hustle and grind. That's not what we were called to do. We were called to hustle and flow. And so you got to surrender and figure that out. And that takes time. And always changes.
Yeah, it does. It's a constant growth process throughout. Well, we've been having such a good conversation. I'm sad that we have to wrap up, but I would love for you to share with everyone just what are you working on right now? What's next for you? Is there anything we should be on the lookout for? Like what's going on? And then also where we can find you.
Yeah, so definitely be on the lookout for a lot, because things are just going to start coming up. Like the digital devotional, I'm working on a printable version right now that's almost done. That will be in my shop soon, that you guys will be able to get. And also I'm launching my group coaching program at the end of next month that I'm really excited about, because I've been doing some one-on-one coaching, but I'm transitioning into group coaching. So lots coming up that way. And if that's something that you're interested in, you can book a free wellness consultation with me, and we can see where you're at and get you started on your journey that way. But otherwise, if you're just kind of wanting to gradually get your feet wet and start in the process with journaling and getting your self-care in order, I do have a mini self-care brain dump guide that you can get. I believe I gave Tatiana the link to for you guys to be able to grab that if that's something you want to do. And yeah, just you can find me at planherwaytofit.com on the website. And you can see some of my stickers and things that are on there right now. And look out for more products and stuff like that, or go on Instagram. You can find me for the business, again, Plan Her Way to Fit, but there's an Plan Her Way to _fit. I'm sure Tatiana will have those links, or find me on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, yeah, all of the links will be down below in the description. Is there any last thing you want to say before we leave?
Just trust yourself, because I think that's something that I know that's something that we all really struggle with. So learning to trust yourself. And if you need that help, finding a coach that you can resonate with and relate to, not just someone who's going to promise you all the things. Especially for mompreneur, find another mom business owner who has the same core values as you and is doing the things and how you would want to do in your business. And so that way, you know that you're on a path into a way that you're going to. And so Tatiana is one of those amazing coaches who doesn't just tell you what to do. She goes with you. And within her program, once your coaching sessions are done, you don't ever leave the community. And she does still offer, monthly group coaching where you're able to connect with her and ask questions and all of those things. And so, especially for the moms, sometimes we can't do a 12-week consistent program. And so I really love and appreciate that that's how you run your coaching program, because we all are in our own journey and stage of our business, and you lovingly continue to give that guidance and support and that community for us all to thrive where we're at, so we don't feel that guilt and frustration of not being where we expect we should be, and can just grow.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, it's definitely fun to do that, and just to continue to watch everyone over the years just grow and change and pivot and all of the things. Like, it's also, I just remember when Apolonia was like, I kind of think I'm going to do coaching, but I'm kind of nervous. So like now to see her just like, yep, my group coaching program is about to be launching. Like, people are out here thriving, you guys. So thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. We'll definitely have to have you come back. This has been a great conversation. As I mentioned, everything will be down in the description for you guys to check out Apolonia, Plan Her Way to Fit, all of the fun things coming up. And thank you all so much for watching. Bye.
Bye, guys.